The Stanley Cup playoffs. We're covering every series here in the first round. So far, we have knocked out all of the West except for this matchup right here, the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings, for what I believe is the 4th straight year. Am I correct about that?
I believe so, yes.
And in all 3 of the previous years, Edmonton has come out on top. Am I also correct in saying that?
You are correct on that.
Okay, well, let's start by picking out our teams here. Let's see how many of these players we actually recognize. I think you're picking first again.
God, early odds here.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes. You have Anson Carter at least. That's something.
We actually okay. I know Avalanche legend Ryan Smith, so we're gonna go with that. We'll go Anson Carter, and then I guess we'll go. This guy's tough as nails. Jesus. Okay. I don't know mid odds. So.
Shout out Tampa Bay Lightning legend Anson Carter.
Oh, you have Adam Deadmarsh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's
Avalanche legend Adam Deadmarsh.
He's gonna make the cut here for sure. But outside of this, I'm kind of yikes on these names here.
Yeah, I didn't.
Sure, let's go with that.
Sure. Oh, Ian LePerriere. Okay, that makes sense.
Felix, at least.
Oh, Felix the Cat. Check that out.
That he did a stint with LA.
I did too. No, I do remember that because he was in net for the Avalanche against the Kings in the Cup. Now that I think about it.
And we got the classic Kings purple, which I'm not mad about.
Not at all.
I like those jerseys quite a lot. I wasn't so much a fan when they mixed the Kings purple with the Lakers purple and tried to do that purple and yellow. It was a short-lived experiment. It should have been short-lived. But
well, no one likes anything with the Lakers involved except Lakers fans. So that makes sense.
Why would you be so rude to Yankees fans? Why would you be so rude to Cowboys fans? It's just, you're being rude overall.
To be fair, out of the fan bases, those 2 are very high up on the ones that deserve to be rude to.
Unhappy?
That too.
All right, fair enough. So, once again, let's start with the home team here, being the Los Angeles Kings. The obvious thing to talk about right out of the gate is what we mentioned at the top, what we teased at the top. These teams have met 3 times, 3 seasons in a row, and I believe, I'd have to go back and look, but I believe that Edmonton has had, quote-unquote, home ice advantage in all 3 of those seasons.
I believe you're right. Because 22 would have been, no, 20, whatever. It would have been not the bubble year, but the division realignment where Edmonton did have a home series. One of 2 teams, and they actually won theirs. Good job, Toronto. And then, they had home ice the other times as well, I believe. Yeah, I think you're right.
But Edmonton comes away with each of those, despite the fact that Edmonton is being carried the most literal way possible by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. That is the team that is the very definition of outscore all of your problems. And when you have 2 of the best players in the world, you can pretty easily do that. But I gotta say, as far as it concerns LA, this is another team where I just keep thinking they're gonna regress. But their homegrown talent has done extremely well. Most notably, in my mind, Quentin Byfield. I mean, the kid has been absolutely incredible. So what surprises you about the LA Kings, and do they have enough to push through the Edmonton Oilers this time around?
I think they do. And I would say, surprisingly, again, would be kind of the forward core. It's been a bit of a surprise. I agree with you. I thought they were going to regress, especially, Andrei Kopitar is an ageless wonder at this point.
Indeed.
And
get that man a cup.
Absolutely. Does he not have one?
He may have gotten one in the early 10s.
I think he got one, might have, but he was super young, didn't really contribute super heavily, I don't think.
He wasn't the captain at that point. That's what I would know for sure.
Again, that's been, especially losing some of the guys they lost. I think they had Arvidsson last year.
Yep.
Victor Arvidsson. They had Alexei Afalo last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think losing that talent, you would think they were going to regress. But again, guys like Byfield have really stepped up and been very, very good.
And you're absolutely right. They lost a lot of talent. They lost Victor Arvidsson to these Edmonton Oilers. So that could be a chance for a little bit of revenge. Lost Iafallo, as you said, to Winnipeg.
Yep.
And Gabe Vilardi as well.
Oh, okay. Yep.
We forget that he was in LA for a little bit. Let's not also forget Pierre-Luc Dubois did a very, very limited stint with the Los Angeles Kings, and now
did basically nothing.
but he's thriving now with the Washington Capitals. I never thought that was going to be a good deal for LA, but they were going to do what they had to do. I'm not going to say that it has benefited them, but here they are, number 2 seed in the Pacific, chance to get some long-awaited revenge on the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, it's not a terrible situation for them to be in. LA, for me, how are you feeling about that goaltending situation there? When was the last time that you said, oh yeah, LA has their guy?
Early Jonathan Quick years.
Yeah, pretty much.
But again, Avs fans slightly biased, but Darcy Kemper, he's not gonna blow the roof off, but he is good enough.
He is a perfectly serviceable goalie.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and who's their other goalie?
Cam Talbot.
I think if Kemper stays healthy, they have a very good shot.
Well said. Let's take that and move over to the Edmonton Oilers as you just go ahead and pot a nasty one-timer. Let's talk about the injury woes starting for the Edmonton Oilers. Most recently, Matthias Ekholm has what I saw as an undisclosed injury, but it's safe to say that he is done for definitely these playoffs, and the Oilers are hoping that it's not more serious than that it's going to extend several seasons. But this unfortunately looks like another situation where McDavid and Draisaitl have to carry the load. And while they are perfectly capable of doing so, I'm another one of those people that just said, you got to give these guys some more help. So with what Edmonton went out and got this year, do they have enough help to not only get past the Kings again for the 4th straight year, can they make the deep push that we've all been waiting for and get McDavid and Draisaitl a cup?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think with the Ekholm injury is devastating.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it. They have some okay guys, but again, you want to talk about top heavy, like.
Oh, they're the very definition of top heavy.
Yeah, like again, not to keep referring back to our cup year, but when we beat the Oilers, McDavid and Draisaitl together were on a record-breaking points run, and the rest of the team wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
And I feel like the same thing is going to happen. I can only think of the only other real legit scoring threat that I can think of, and I mean this in points, not just goals, is Evan Bouchard.
Yep.
Who is coming into his own. He's, there was the whole story about him being working with Paul Coffey and stuff like that in the off seasons and stuff, and he's becoming a really good offensive defenseman. But that's not enough.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a piece back. I think they said they're getting Evander Kane back.
I believe I heard that. Yes.
Which is not going to help you with scoring at all. It's more of like a protecting.
Yep, that's a PK.
McDavid and Draisaitl, yeah.
Yep.
But again, I don't think that's going to put him over the edge. I think the Kings are just way more balanced.
I agree. Look, Edmonton had their best shot that they're going to have for a while last year. You had a 50-goal scorer in Zach Hyman. You had, I forget exactly how many goals Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had, but it was another ridiculous number.
Absolutely.
Edmonton wasted that opportunity last year. Here's the only reason that I think that Edmonton will push through. And it has nothing to do with the on-ice statistics. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with a very particular streak. Okay? With one of their older players. Can you take a guess on who?
The older players.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I'm talking about the streak of Corey Perry losing the Stanley Cup final.
Ah, yes. Okay.
He has lost it. What did he lose? I think 5 years in a row. So I think he missed one last year because he also played for Edmonton last year.
Played for Edmonton.
And they lost to the Panthers. He may have missed one in there somewhere. He didn't make it to the final, but.
Yeah, because who was he with between. He didn't go straight from Tampa to Edmonton. He went somewhere. No, he went to Chicago.
Yep.
Because he had with Connor Bedard's mother.
And then promptly left. We will not discuss that. But
we will not.
Some statistics just transcend the entire discussion. So for that reason, might be worth picking Edmonton. But
Foreshadowing for the Toronto video.
oh no,
Let's be honest here.
let's ready up here for the third period, and let's use that and transition into our predictions. Now, we already said this matchup has had 3 straight seasons. Last year it went 7 games. It's been knocked down. It's been drag out. They've been fun series. It's kind of that idea of, well, you're going to have to break through. If you're LA, if you're going to make a deep run, you have to go through Edmonton at this point. Like, you have to face your own demons and you have to get through them. But let's start with you. What are you predicting for this series between LA and Edmonton?
I believe I took the Kings in 6.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look at my actual bracket, but I feel like it is the Kings' time. I feel like they are a much more balanced and a much better unit, even with the guys that they lost. I think their talent has really stepped up. They have much better goaltending than they have in years past.
Yep.
And I think defense, the Kings also have the edge on defense, I think, too. Whereas I do. It's gonna depend on McDavid and Draisaitl playing out of their minds and basically playing 2v5 when they're on the ice together, which that's just not sustainable.
This is the epitome of a team sport, in my opinion. Absolutely. You talk about the NBA and getting into those playoffs. A superstar can carry a team. Who's the guy on your team, the Denver Nuggets?
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, that guy. I hear he's pretty good and can put up a lot of points, and he can probably carry a game. The only names I know recently are like LeBron James and that guy that played for Dallas and doesn't play for Dallas anymore. But that's a sport that is a little bit more conducive to a superstar carrying the load. The NFL,
To an extent, yeah.
Right. The NFL to a certain extent as well. You look at the quarterback position and sometimes an outrageous running back, and they can do that. The NHL isn't like that. You play in such small bursts that you greatly benefit from having a superstar, but you need depth at all positions. And the biggest concern I have for the Edmonton Oilers right now is goaltending. I just don't think that they have it. I think this is the weakest 10 that they have fielded in quite a while.
By far, I'd say.
And they are just counting on, I don't know, vibes to get through this. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is, but I don't know how do you not go out of the deadline and get a top goaltending talent? You're not growing and you're not developing anybody at this point. It baffles me that you don't fill in that gap. The rest of it, you can make do with. Okay, you can make do with a subpar defense, even if you are missing Matthias Ekman, even if you are missing Darnell Nurse for a couple of games. But that goaltending situation just worries the hell out of me. LA isn't necessarily the most prolific of forward groups, but I think they're certainly going to take advantage of Edmonton's goalies, no matter who is starting in net. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see a goalie change early in this series. So I am also going to take the Los Angeles Kings, but I think I'm going to take them in 6 this time around. I considered taking them in 5. Just I feel like they outclassed the Oilers that much this time around, but never underestimate McDavid and Draisaitl. They're just best players in the world for a reason.
Now, I will say, just my own personal bias, I
Mhm.
kind of treat the Oilers like I treat the Chicago Bears,
Okay.
in which I really, really love hearing them prattle on about the 80s with no recent success to show for it. So part of me does kind of hope that continues. You know, it's kind of like a Patriots thing. It's like you had enough success, like even if it was 20 years ago, 30 at this point, 40 at this point.
That's fair. I think we're also saying that about the Chicago Blackhawks, to be fair.
Yeah, they need a few. They have other sins to pay for.
There are many reasons for that, but that is not only the wrap on the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. That's the wrap for us on the Western Conference. If you want to see the other 3 games, down in the description. If you want to skip ahead and see the Eastern Conference, down in the description. We're going to go ahead and start recording those Eastern Conference videos. See you there.